Slania, I'm Corvus Bruxo, and you're watching Starting Out Solitary. And this week we're talking about our favorite forms of divination. So, I'm in a new spot outdoors, and as you have probably figured out, I like to record outdoors, and I like going outdoors, and I like my trips to the woodlands slash sandlands, because this forest is planted artificially to stop the dunes from moving into town. So most of the soil is basically dunes of sand. But it worked. The dunes stopped going into town. Okay, our favorite forms of divination. I think I addressed this topic in other video in the past in this very channel. So I won't be speaking way too much. This will be a quick video, even though I like the topic. At last, something that I can talk about and I can address. My only way of divination so far is by, I guess you can call it oniromancy, by interpretation of dreams, but in a very specific form. It is inspired from one of the few rituals we know, because we don't know the ritual, we know the concept of what they did. It was explained by Romans, who called it Incubation, and they explained that the worshippers of the god Endovellicus, that we regard as a king of the underworld in the Lusitanian and Galician territories, associated with wild boars, fire in a way of illuminating in a Promethean way, and associated with guiding and prophecy and healing and public healthcare and protection. So people would go to his sanctuaries who were usually at rocky spots, and usually rocky spots with holes that go to very deep in the underworld, would receive some rites that we don't know about, and would sleep in the sanctuary itself. And they would receive dreams that the priests would later interpret and provide the guidance they were looking for. So inspired by that, I sometimes create a shrine for Endovellicus and sleep with one of his symbols under the pillow, for example with something out of a wild boar or of a pig, or a palm leaf or something like that, because palm leaves or palm trees are also symbols of him. I don't know what happens today, sorry. Or I would anoint myself in palm oil or something like that before going to sleep and going in prayer and meditation to him. And I would expect a dream to come and his presence to guide my dreamscapes to something meaningful that provides answers to my questions. That's my favorite and only used so far form of divination. But I'm also learning to read the major arcana of the tarot, not by heart, but knowing the basic interpretation of each card and interpreting the symbols within the context in which the specific deck was created. Interpreting, for example, medieval symbols or medieval professions or medieval roles in the Marcel tarot deck, because that's the context in which it was created, and I consider it a modus liber, a mute book, and I try to read all of the symbology rather than the provided written explanation that someone did. And I try also to interpret the relationship between cards themselves, like where the character is looking at, that he seems taller or smaller than other characters, things like that. So it's quite probable that tarot will be some of my other form of divination, because I'm enjoying the process of learning quite much. And yeah, those, you could say, those are my favorite forms of divination that I already addressed in some other video. Which topic I can't remember, but it was related to divination as well. So that's all. Thanks for watching. May the gods and spirits watch over you all. We'll see each other next Friday. And Slania.